Yo, what's going on, guys? Faith here. Welcome back to the channel. And today, I'm here to bring you guys a draft analysis on all three of my teams in the multi-gen draft tournament called GG Inc., the summer seasonal. So let's get straight into it. Like I said, GG Inc. is a multi-gen draft tournament, and um, that means we drafted three teams, one Houston team, one Swish team, and one SV team. And today I'll be analyzing all three of my drafts, giving you guys my general thoughts on it. So you can see my draft in the right side of your screen, and then I also have Showdown pulled up just to talk about it. But I don't think I'll have to talk much about my first pick here, Tapu Koko. I just think it's generally considered one of the best ones in USUM, and I had the first overall pick, and I decided let me make sure I don't fuck it up, and just pick Koko, make it a Z user, pretty standard stuff. Don't think there's a lot to talk about. Koko can beat most of its checks with Z moves, and stuff like that. Has a nice move pool, etc., etc. We all know what Koko is and what he does. I decided to pair Tapu Koko with Victini. Victini can benefit a lot from Koko's Electric Surge with the Bolt Strike and the Fusion Bolt. Just generally, the electric moves off the electric terrain because of Koko really helps it deal with bulky waters that otherwise might struggle with a lot. And then obviously, I think that just having Victini to soften up things as well is very, very nice with V-Curate and the things like that. So that's what Victini's here for. Also gives us a nice speed here to kind of pair with Koko. Pretty fast squad so far. But Victini, pretty self-explanatory, just a really good breaker. Hopefully soften things up for Koko. And then I went ahead and just got a ground type. We did start the draft off with 3 ground weaknesses, which is tough. But yeah, I just thought having a Nidoqueen is going to be pretty nice into other electrics, because I am setting up the electric terrain for them. So having a pretty solid ground type, bulky ground type, would be pretty good for that. And so that's what I decided to go with Nidoqueen here on the wheel pick with Victini Nidoqueen. There would have been a few other things that I would have loved if they made it back. Obviously, Charizard X would have been great to make it back. Just a few months that I really wish could have made it back, but nothing really great ended up making it back. So I decided to go with Victini Nidoqueen, which I think is okay enough. And then here on my next wheel pick, I was getting a little concerned about the ground weakness, so I went ahead and picked up Decidueye as a ground resist. Obviously, the 75 defense is pretty concerning when you think about the top ground types in USUM. They're mostly all physical, so that's a bit of a problem. But I decided to go with Decidueye over different grass types. Because it's just better. It's a better run. A lot of the other grass types are just some real straight ass. So I kind of just had to rock with it, really. And then, the defogger is going to help a lot as well, because I don't want Victini with bad or no hazard removal. And maybe Decidueye is bad hazard removal. Honestly, there's a good chance that it is. But I decided to go ahead and pick him anyway. One of my favorite mods. So then I picked up Mesprit because, like I said, Decidueye is a little sus. Just in terms of being the only ground resist. So I picked up Mesprit, gives me a Levitator. We did pick up a third Dark weakness, which is pretty unfortunate. Third Dark and Ghost weakness, which is kind of funny. Really stacking them up. But it gives me a second rocker to free up Nidoqueen slots and vice versa. And then just has really good general utility, which I really like when I already have Koko Victini to kind of do the breaking. And then I picked up Sharpedo as my mega. I might have been able to wait on Sharpedo a little bit longer and just picked it up as my last pick. I was a little concerned, so I just decided to pick it up. Sharpedo, obviously, really good cleaner with speed boost, and it can function as just more offense for the squad. I like it a bit more sort of in other gens, other fake generations where its move pool is a little bit wider in 8 and 9, but those are also fake. Anyways, it's still good here though. Just has pretty wide move pool in terms of what it can click offensively, and I decided to pick him up. Coco Victini going to do a lot of the breaking. Pretty sure that they'll be fine doing it. I know their stats aren't out of this world in terms of breaking, but obviously we have the electric terrain, we have V-Create, so hopefully those two can soften things up for big Pedo here. You know him. Anyways, then we got Licky continuing the Pedo dream. He's just a fatso. And I did mention we had the 3 ghost weaknesses, Sharpedo being the only dark and ghost resist. Just wasn't going to work, so we picked up Licky to kind of help shore up against those ghost types. I don't know if Licky's good. Licky might be too passive. I mean, just like 85, 80 is like pretty mid, so it might be a little too passive, but it does get some good moves, and Dragon Tail gets knockoff as well. So it does get good moves in terms of like not being the most passive thing in the world, so hopefully we can stop that. And talking about passive things, we got Milotic. Milotic is like low-key ass, high-key, low-key, high-key. Some real ass. It is the epitome of too passive and constantly is going to lose you any sort of initiative that you have. But he was just kind of the best water type left. And I wasn't going to go in with Sharpedo as my only water type. Could have went somewhere else here, but I just was not comfortable with doing that, so I decided against it. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the team. I think there's definitely there's plenty of better Yusum teams, but I think this is like completely like fine, and you could win with this team. Just like I think the 3 offensive core of Coco, Victini, Sharpedo is plenty good, and then have some pretty like fatso stuff behind it to just kind of help me play like a nice balance sort of style, and hopefully that'll allow me to win. I think all the types are like covered pretty okay. So yeah, I think the Yusum team is fine. Probably my weakest of the 3 generations though, so let's move on to Sword and Shield. Alright, and we are back with our Sword and Shield draft, and this I think is much better than our Yusum draft. We start with Torrentee. I don't remember what pick I was, probably 2 or 3 or something like that to get Torrentee. But Torrentee, y'all, if you play draft, you don't really need an introduction to this mod. Just one of the best mods in Sword and Shield. With boots, it never gets chipped, so just like always at full, and it has infinite move pool. Pretty much do whatever you want with it, but it tends to be like the best sort of just fat beater with taunt and stuff like that. But also gets defog, also gets knockoff, also gets U-turn, also gets a bunch of shit. Best pivot, best stall breaker, best whatever. It's really, really good. Broken Bond, I got him in the first round. Picked up Rotom Wash, thought this should make a stupid Volturn core. Seemed like a pretty good idea to me. And so I picked up Rotom Wash. Just gives you a nice water type as well, very early on. Rotom Wash, also incredible in Sword and Shield. I think it really benefits from the slower pace overall of Swish, at least, especially compared to like SV. It's definitely slower paced, and it definitely benefits from that by having nasty plot and stuff. But it also can run a lot of trick sets to sort of beat some of the fat that I think is likely to be spammed, especially in the like slower ends of the Swiss bracket, where, let's be honest, I might be residing. So yeah, just like a really good mod. Clicks Volt Switch with my U-turner up here, and then has trick, has plot. So really, I just don't want to lose the fat with these first 2 picks. Then I hop in on the fat train. The Fable was still around. I was like, damn, Clef is pretty broken. So I just hopped on Clef. You know me. Clefable, pretty standard guy as well. If you play Mons at all, you probably know what this guy does. He's just a fatso. He has every move you can think of, and will use all of them. Not really much more to say about Clef. It does give me a rocker, which is nice. But I'm kind of stacking up the fat stuff. I mean, none of these guys are like super threatening offensively. So I pick up Hydreigon as like pretty much the main breaker on the squad. And I think Sword and Shield Hydreigon is really, really good. It has the biggest move pool out of any Hydreigon because it loses some moves in SV. So it just has a really, really big move pool. It does really crazy stuff in this gen with that move pool because it got plot this gen as well. And then also has like pretty threatening DB sets with its wider physical move pool. And another U-turner, so I'm just pivoting all over, bro. I'm pivoting all over him. Yeah, I think I really felt like I needed a good breaker here at this point. And I felt like Hydreigon was one of the best ones available. And I felt like I also had its like weaknesses covered pretty well with Rotom and Clef. So that felt nice. And not much more to say about Hydreigon. I just felt like it was probably the best offensive mod I could get at this point. And yeah, also extra defogger to go with Rotom and the other one. So I'm not going to run out of defoggers ever. Also get Stealth Rocks this gen, I believe. I think I lied. It doesn't get Stealth Rocks this gen. Whatever. Gets infinite moves. A lot of my mons just get infinite moves. I really like that in Swish. So that's what we went with. And another guy that gets infinite moves is Jirachi. I kind of accidentally did this Fairy Dragon Steel Core, but you know, whatever. We ball. It's definitely not a necessary thing. However, it does exist because they do cover each other quite well. And then also having the Dark type already for Jirachi makes it a lot easier to cover it later on. Gives me another rocker so it can free up Clef from having to click rocks. And then gives me a nice Scarfer because as much as I said Rotom is a really good Scarfer and Hydreigon is a really good Scarfer, I think it might be pigeonholed into other roles pretty often. Just because I might need that breaking with how fat my team is, and you can see it on the right. This shit is pretty fat. So having Jirachi as a nice potential Scarfer is going to be pretty freeing, I think, for my prep. And then just another guy with infinite move pool. Just another guy with infinite move pool. And you have to scroll for a while, bro. How many mons in SV do you have to scroll for this long? Not many. I think it's Swish. But yeah, I just think this guy's pretty nice. Also, I can click Doom Desire, which is cool. And with as much as I can click U-turn and shit, that's pretty sick. And Doom Desire is also going to go pretty well with Hydreigon. So yeah, that was a guy I liked. I didn't have a ground type yet, and I still feel like I was a little lacking in terms of breaking power. So Rhyperior, I was like, man, that's a big number. That's a big old number. So I got this guy because he's got a big old number on him. And yeah, less pressure on Jirachi and Clef, even more now to click Stealth Rocks because I have this guy now who can click rocks probably every game because he's such a fatso. And then, like I said, additional breaking power, Sword Stance plus Edge Pick with this guy is pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy. And he's a lot less threatened in this gen compared to others because there's no hidden powers. Admittedly, the two best electric types in the gen do get Grass Knot, but we ball. I think we'll be okay. Coco's in Galar Reflex, right? Am I tripping? He's definitely Galar. Okay, I was like, hold on. He's definitely here. But yeah, I just thought Rhyperior made a lot of sense. And then the last two, I thought Velux was like the best recorder I could get. Could allow me to shift into a more offensive sort of thing if I really, really wanted to with Veil. Not really sure if that would ever really make sense with the squad that I have. But it does let that at least be a possibility. But kind of just thought he was the best mon available. And also gives me something to hit water types super effectively besides Rotom Wash because I do the freeze dry. And then extra hit on flying types with just the ice moves in general. So my period was quite slow. But yeah, there really wasn't that much thought into this guy. I just thought he was the best mon for like 3 points. And then Lickitung, I like licking. I like licking. So that was my 1-pointer. Yeah, this was just pretty much draft a fat team, get a few breakers, and hopefully I can just get some nice matchups into some of these shittier players in Swish and just sit on them. We'll see how that happens, but that was sort of my. And finally, the SV draft. SV. So, this one was pretty simple. Great Tusk kind of fell to me. I was around like pick 6 or something like that. And he was nice. I thought he was the best one left. Went ahead and picked him. Gives me incredible hazard control with one of the best rockers, one of the best route spinners, and very nice setup threat. That also is a really, really wide move pool. Very strong Pokemon. Pretty simple pick, I think. Then I went ahead, round 2, got Darkrai. I think Darkrai pairs really well with Great Tusk because I think they share some similar checks. Obviously, Darkrai is going to lose the fairies, and Great Tusk doesn't love fairies either, so I think they can really help wear those down for each other. But then they also beat some of the checks that the other might struggle with. So Darkrai, obviously resisted by dark types. Great Tusk and absolutely destroyed those dark types. Gonna murk them, and that's pretty nice. So I just thought these two paired really, really well together. And yeah, there's really not much more to it. I also think Darkrai just falling this far back in the second round felt like pretty nice. I felt like it slipped farther than it should. I mean, just look at the stats. They're pretty nutty. And yeah, I mean, you don't even have to run Hypnosis, but also having Hypnosis Bad Dreams is pretty sick as well. But also has just like a really, really wide move pool with 135 special attack, 125 speed. Mod is nuts, and I really was happy getting it with Great Tusk. It felt really good. Rotom Wash, kind of going to do what it does for my Switch team, but in a little bit of a different way. Obviously, Rotom Wash, one of the better pivots in draft, just in general, no matter what gen you're talking about, because obviously it can Volt Switch pretty freely, because ground types don't want to be in on a Hydro Pump. So, Rotom Wash's main job here is just going to be bringing the Great Tusk, bringing the Darkrai for free, and that feels pretty good, I'll say it. But it also can switch in on water types that Great Tusk does not like. That'll be nice as well. But yeah, otherwise, it's going to do the same shit it normally does. Move pool's a little bit more limited in SV, which is unfortunate, but really remains still as one of the better mods that you can get. Then I got Jirachi. Jirachi felt pretty nice here since I already have Darkrai. It's sort of a dark and ghost move switch in. And Darkrai is pretty much the best dark type. Who would have thought? Who would have thought it's in the name? Not going to lose to a lot of other dark types. At least that's sort of my intuition, my inclination, based on who he is. So that was sort of the thought process there. But I also wanted a secondary Stealth Rocker, so Great Tusk does not have to run it, because that would be sort of like cucking, your boy. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to force him to not, or you don't want to force him to run that move. You're kind of using up a move slot that could maybe be used for something better to help you break, or some other sort of utility. So yeah, and especially when he's like the only removal on the team, so probably he's going to have spin in a lot of matchups, or maybe every time we play. So yeah, Jirachi felt really nice here to sort of take some pressure off of Great Tusk to the Stealth Rock. Also another pivoter to these guys in. That feels really good. Speed Tears feel nice with this guy as well. Doom Desire, does it work the same way with Darkrai does with Hydreigon? Yeah, it probably can. So that feels pretty nice as well. Then I picked up Ceruledge. Ceruledge is kind of an interesting mon. By the way, Great Tusk is Terra. Ceruledge, also my other Terra. Ceruledge, interesting mon. Very interesting mon. And Gives me another setup threat because Darkrai is a setup threat, obviously, but maybe it specs or just for attacks in some matchups. Great Tusk maybe can't fit the full-on like a bulk up set in a lot of matchups. So Ceruledge gonna be a really nice setup threat. Gives you Flash Fire, also gives you like a weak armor, like lead kind of set. And so because of that, I thought Ceruledge was really nice. And I don't really add another Ghost weakness because this is a Terra Pokemon. And even if I do have a Darkrai, it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, that was sort of my thought process here. We are kind of stacking up ground weaknesses here though. And I felt like Rotom Wash, obviously extremely good. Don't want to put it all on him though. So we got Arboliva, which like I said, I do have Darkrai, but still we are kind of stacking them up. Darkrai, not something you want to be hard switching in. So Arboliva, hopefully going to help out with that a little bit. Does have some pretty decent bulk on both sides. So ground types and ghost types. So that's sort of the thought process with the Arboliva. Not too much else to really say about it. It does have a pretty high special attack. Unfortunately, it has no moves. But, you know, I mean, it does have Earth Power, so that helps a lot. We don't have the, we don't have the full-on Shaman experience, but we are stronger than Shaman. So, you know, maybe this spawn's underrated, but whatever. Regardless. Then we got Alcremie. Alcremie feels pretty good this gen. I just like kissing him. Can't be taunted. So it's a nice sort of low tier setup threat. Also gives you a nice fairy type. It gives you some nice bulk. Just feel like Alcremie is pretty good for how little it costs. Gives you an encore guy. Easy screens. Yeah, it just feels like pretty solid for like how much it costs. Like obviously it costs nothing. So that feels pretty solid as well. And then finally, we got Ariados. Ariados does one thing. It's Click Sticky Web. But it is nice to sort of have that threat because we do have Great Tusk and Ceruledge as sort of two of our big attacking threats. And they're kind of slow. I'll say it. They're kind of slow. I mean, Great Tusk is like stupid fast for like who he is. But in general, they're somewhat slower. So having the threat of Sticky Web is kind of cool to at least force my opponents to sort of give that some thought when prepping. So anyways, I feel like this team is pretty solid. If I had to rank my teams, I'd probably go Swish SV Usum. But Usum is definitely closer to this. I think all three of my teams are sort of close-ish in terms of their quality. But I think I'm definitely most comfortable with just the style of the Swish team. Played a lot of Swish, played a lot with Torrentine, pretty standard stuff. Anyways, that is the draft analysis. I will be doing videos for all my games, at least all 6 of the Swiss games. So look forward to that. I think I will be just revealing full on my whole prep and everything. It's likelihood of running into some kind of full on rematch, even if I make top 8 wins. Let's be honest. So yeah, I'll just full on reveal my prep, I think, for that. And yeah, with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.